Hey kids, how's everybody in kindergarten today? I want to pick up where I left off yesterday. We were talking about measuring, looking at different objects and determining if something is larger, smaller, lighter, or heavier. And I know you all understand that. There's a lot of things you pick up and you realize right away they're real light. And then there are some things you really gotta struggle to pick up because they're real heavy. And there's some things you can't reach because they're really tall. And there's some things that are easy to reach because they're really small. When we talk about measuring things, measurement, first of all, let's look at the word measure. M-E-A-S-U-R-E. Measure. You measure lots of things. You just don't think about it. But every day you look at things, you size them up. Is that something that's too big to play with, too small to play with? Or you want something bigger to play with, or you want something smaller to play with? When we think about measuring things, one of the most common used tools for measurement is a ruler. And a ruler, in this case, can measure things inch by inch or centimeter by centimeter. Inches are the standard measurement. Centimeters are the metric measurement. So we have two different ways to measure things. In this country, we use mostly the standard measurement system. That means inches, feet, yards, miles. But in metric, it's millimeters, centimeters, kilometers. It's a whole different thing. And you'll learn more about that later on. But right now it's important that you know that the ruler is what we use to measure things. And if you take the ruler, you see that it starts at 0 and then every 1 inch it continues to get bigger until it gets all the way up to 12. And 12 inches is 1 foot. So this is 1 foot broken into 12 equal distances of 1 inch. So if you take a ruler and you want to measure something, if I had a box and I wanted to measure that box, as a matter of fact, we'll make that box so that it has 3 dimensions. A 3-dimensional object has length, height, and width. What we want to think about, if we're going to measure this, is how we use the ruler. Starting at 0, you put 0 right at one edge of it, and then you look at your ruler, and you see it goes 1, 2, 3. So my box is 3 inches. And I wonder how high it is. So we take our ruler again, and remember, you always start at 0, put it right at the edge of it, and then you come down and you count and look at the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, this is 4 inches. So if the bottom is 3 inches and the side is 4 inches, that means the side is taller than the bottom. What do you think of that? We just made a comparison and measurement, didn't even think about it. So we can measure the width, the height, or you can call it the length. When you think of measuring the length of something, you think to yourself, gee whiz, I have this line here, and I wonder how long it is. Well, you take your little ruler, put it right at the beginning, and then you count the inches. And look at that. My line is exactly 12 inches. That means it's a foot. 12 inches equals 1 foot. Got it? Good. Now, if I wanted to know, I'm looking at my rocket ship, and I want to know how high it is. Well, when you want to know how high something is, you want to know from the ground how high it is to the top of it. So I take my ruler, don't forget, start at 0, put 0 right at the ground, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My rocket is 11 inches high. So you can measure the height of things. I'll bet your height has been measured. Do you know how high you are? I am 65 inches high. That's how high I am. See if you can get your parents to help measure how high you are. Another thing you can do is ask your parents to weigh you. Everything has weight. Some things are light, some things are really heavy. Do you know how much you weigh? Well, if you don't, how do you find out how much you weigh? You go and step on the scale. That's how you weigh things. You weigh them with a scale. A scale measures how much things weigh. So if you stand on that scale, it'll tell you just exactly how much you weigh in pounds. Pounds are the unit of measure in the United States. Now, if you were in the metric system, you would be getting measured in kilograms. But that's different. Right now, let's just worry about how many pounds we weigh. I weigh 130 pounds. So if I had a pound of butter, it would take 130 of them to weigh just as much as me. So Find out how much you weigh. So today we've learned about the length of things. How long is the line? How long is your bedroom? Or how long is your driveway? You can measure all those things and figure out just exactly how long it is. How high are you? How tall are you? How high are the plants in your front yard? How high is that big tree in your backyard? How high is your favorite stuffed animal? How wide is your favorite stuffed animal? Measuring. We measure all the time. Every time we step on the scale, every time we measure how tall we are. Every time you go to the doctor, they measure your weight and your height. And they measure things like your blood pressure too. Or they measure your temperature. And everything that gets measured has something specifically used to measure it. For now, it's enough to know that a ruler is how we measure lengths and heights, and a scale is how we measure the weight of something. All right, kids, I hope you got your brain wrapped all around measurement now. And let me look ahead here and see what else we got that we can talk about. Oh, just a lot of ways to measure things and to compare if something is lighter or heavier. I mean, really, is a feather lighter or heavier than a brick? That's pretty easy. A feather is definitely lighter than a brick. Is a brick lighter or heavier than your car? Well, that brick that was heavier than the feather is lighter for sure than your car. And is your car heavier or lighter than your house? We think about these things all the time. Not that anybody goes around picking up their house and moving it around. Or even for that matter, picking up their car and moving it around. Who does that? But we pick up bricks and move them around. And we pick up feathers and move them around. We pick up our toys and move them around. Is that a heavy toy? Is it a light toy? Is it easy to move? Is it difficult to move? Measurement. So, like I said, we're always measuring something. Meanwhile, I'm going to measure how long it takes me to say, take care of yourself, stay safe, be kind to everybody, and we'll see you again.